Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EMACS, the Customer Experience Conference 2021, brought to you again virtually this year by Chartwell. My name is Scott Johnson. I'll be your moderator for this session. A couple of quick reminders before we get started. Please chat in your questions using the Q&A widget located on your screen. You can also chat in if you're having any technical support issues. We'll do our best to help you out. The presentations that you're about to see are available already on demand using the resource link. The recordings will be available as soon as the session is done using the same link that you used to access the conference. At any time during the conference, you can visit our virtual exhibit hall. The more you do in the hall, making appointments to visit our sponsors and exhibitors and interact with each other, the higher your engagement score and the better your chance to win the prizes that will be announced at the end of today. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our topic and speaker. This session focuses on how to use interactive content to engage utility customers. Our presenter is Brian Lindemood, who's Vice President of Marketing and Content Strategy at Questline. Brian leads the team that delivers engaging content solutions and digital marketing campaigns to educate residential customers, small business owners, and commercial and industrial facility managers. Brian, welcome to EMACS. We're so glad to have you with us. We look forward to your presentation, and you can begin when you're ready.
Great. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for that warm welcome. It's really great to be here with all of you today. I get to talk about one of my favorite topics, and I appreciate all of your interest in it as well. And I'll tell you, just to start, I'll tell you why this is so exciting for me. Interactivity is one of the most important trends in content marketing and customer engagement right now. A few years ago, I was saying the same thing about video content, and that has quickly evolved to mean video content you can interact with, or other types of video games or interactivity. So we're going to talk about what interactive content is and why utilities should make it part of their marketing and communication plans. I have a lot of examples to share with you, and I'll try to save lots of time for questions too. So please try to think of some good ones for me. So look, any of us who have a smartphone, or if you happen to spend the last year and a half sitting in front of a laptop at home, you know what interactive content is. Interactive content is any digital experience where there's some back and forth. It's a conversation, right? So the user takes an action or provides some information, and the content responds in some way. The user takes another action, and the content responds. The point is that the content requires the active participation of the user. You can't just sit there and watch it or sit there and read it. The user has to be involved. Common types of this content, I'm sure you're all familiar with, are a game or a quiz, a poll or a survey where the user is providing some information, a calculator. All of these things work only when the user participates in them. So why should we care about this as marketers? Well, there are a lot of reasons, but we should start with the fact that your customers like this stuff. They expect it. You know, your customers are all using smartphones too. And when you provide a content experience that's not just educational, but it's also enjoyable, customers are more likely to spend time with that content and more likely to share it with others. The bottom line is that it works. You know, compared to static content, interactive content is better at getting the attention of customers and keeping their attention, keeping them engaged. And remember, the interactive content requires their participation. By definition, that's customer engagement, right? No one is going to sit in front of a blank calculator and stare at it doing nothing. They're going to put the numbers in there. Probably the biggest thing we get out of interactive content as marketers is a better understanding of our customers. And for those of us who work with energy utilities, that's really the most important thing, that customer relationship, getting to know our customers, the chance to listen to our customers. You know, think about it this way. If a customer reads an article or even watches a video, we have a pretty good sense that they must be interested in that topic. But we don't know why they're interested in it, or how much they already know about that topic, or even what they learned about it. With interactive content, we can gain that insight. When we ask customers to answer a question in a quiz, say, or click on one element or another, choose to watch one video or another. We're giving customers an opportunity to tell us about themselves. By interacting with the content, the customers show us what they know about it, what they learned from it, and why they're interested in it. To take it a step further then, when we capture this information, when we record customer answers to a quiz, say, this becomes valuable first-party data that we can then use in our marketing. Now, ultimately, this is going to improve our marketing and our conversion rates because we'll have a better understanding of our customers, and we've given them a chance to tell us what they're looking for. Just as an example, and I'll have a chance to show this to you in a minute, we have a quiz we created called, Is an Electric Vehicle Right for You? The quiz asks a series of questions, guides customers through the decision-making process about buying an EV. How far is their commute to work? Is there a charging station at work? Are you more concerned about saving money or saving the environment? Based on the customer's answers, then, we can enter them into a segmented campaign that addresses their specific concerns or their specific motivations. So the quiz itself is useful and interesting for the customer. The follow-up campaign can be extremely valuable because we're providing targeted information based on what we learned about the customer. There's a lot of value in that. Just being able to hear from the customer and listen to them is part of that content engagement. This is why interactive content is so successful, right? When we learn from our customers' activity, tailor the experience to their needs, and ultimately help them sign up for a program or a service that we know is going to be relevant to them. It connects them with the best programs, the best opportunities, and ultimately that's going to drive customer satisfaction. This is really critical for energy utilities. And, I guess back to my personal interest in this topic, this is, to me, what's so exciting about this intersection of the broader trend in digital marketing and the specific needs of energy utilities. Unlike most marketers who are promoting products or services that are pretty well understood by consumers, with utilities, we need to explain sometimes very complicated energy topics that are new to customers, and they can be intimidating to customers. Education is a huge part of what we do, not just as marketers, but also for program managers. Interactive content is a great way to do that. With interactive content, you have time and space to unravel complicated topics. You have the customer's involvement, so they're paying attention. But you also have a chance to really help them learn about your program or service. And not incidentally, this learning should be taking place in an experience that's also fun and entertaining, making it even more memorable. We created another piece that I'll share with you here for an IOU in the Northeast. It's a microsite built around interactive videos to explain energy management systems for C&I customers. So I'm sure you all know how challenging it can be to explain something like boiler controls or chiller efficiency with a text article. With the interactive videos, these topics come to life. You can literally see how boiler controls work. The customer can click around and explore topics at their own pace. And then in this microsite we created, the program information is also integrated. So you can learn about chiller efficiency and then sign up for the rebate program in the same experience. Something else that's unique for utilities beyond program conversions, other sorts of actions that we want customers to take. Often education is its own goal in our communication strategy. So, we might use educational content to promote program signups or sell smart thermostats. But we also might have an educational content strategy just because we want customers to learn something. Often we're not trying to sell them anything at all. We just want them to be more energy efficient or to learn about safety or to understand how the grid works. I'll show you an example of a video game that teaches customers about DACR technology on the smart grid. So the idea is that the smart grid detects outages and restores power. or, customers should care about that because it's helping keep the lights on, but the technical details of that are pretty dry for a residential audience, right? But the game is fun. So, in this game, you click on a map of a neighborhood to avoid tree limbs and squirrels and cars crashing into utility poles. There's no program to sign up for. There's no action for customers to take, but it's a pretty fun way to learn how the grid works. And again, hopefully memorable. Hopefully we're reinforcing that message in a way where customers don't even realize they're learning. So I want to talk briefly about some different types of interactive content and share some examples with you. We're probably all familiar with calculators that can help customers understand their energy costs or potential savings. In recent years, we've seen a lot of residential solar calculators, EV calculators. It's a great way to show the savings. We're starting to see more time of use rate plan calculators, which can be really effective. Quizzes and polls can be a great way to teach and to listen to customers at the same time, as I mentioned. So, you can understand what your customers know about a topic or maybe why they're interested in a new technology. But it also gives you a chance to provide the right answer. Say if a customer gets a question wrong in a quiz, or follow up with more information based on what you learned about that customer. Games can accomplish the same thing, usually in a kind of a lighter context. But a good game can be the kind of thing where the customer is having so much fun, they don't even realize they're learning something. Infographics can accomplish the same thing. So often your goal with an infographic is just educational. But compared to a static infographic, when you add that interactivity, it increases the level of engagement, makes it more interesting and more memorable for the customers. We're seeing more interactivity added directly to emails. The most common of this is a poll question or some kind of survey feedback that you can solicit directly within an email message without making the customer go to a landing page. You can also do a good job sort of simulating interactivity. So you can't really embed an actual video into an email, but with an animated GIF, you can sort of simulate that and then have the customer click through the email for the full interactive experience. I also have some examples to share here of multi-touch photos and videos. This is the kind of experience where a customer clicks on an image or clicks on a point on a web page and is able to manipulate the content or customize the experience. So I am going to switch over to screen sharing here. Bear with me for 1 second, and let's take a look at some really good interactive content examples. This first one is a great example of a time of day rate calculator from SMUD. I love the clean design in this. I love the side-by-side layout that you can see with this sort of list of rooms and appliances on the left and then the results on the right. It's real easy for the customer to see the comparison here. So what you do is you can click on each appliance and see the difference in rates, the difference in cost of running this appliance at different times of day. So if you're cooking in the afternoon, it costs one rate versus cooking in the evening, it costs another rate. It gives you this good comparison, and of course you could kind of go through your actual usage or your actual lifestyle and get a good sense of what your rates might actually be under these different scenarios. But something else that I like about this is the repeatability, right? So it encourages customers to play around with it and try different scenarios, even if those scenarios aren't realistic. So you might go through and say, I'm going to run my dishwasher all day, which is probably, I run my microwave all night, every night, right? So probably not realistic, but in playing around with it, the customer is learning how time of use rates work. They can see the impact. And I think anytime a calculator kind of allows that the realistic aspect, getting a good sense of how much something might cost, but also the fun aspect, an ability where you can try it again, try extreme versions of it, just play around with it. It's a great way to both provide that information and help the customer learn about the concepts behind it, learn how time of use rates actually work. I find this solar calculator has the same effect, where again, you could, I'll show you here. In this case, we have simplified the input so that we're asking customers just to enter what their approximate monthly electric bill is. I think this is one thing that's key when I talk about the kind of repeatability or the encouraging customers just to play around with it. I think it's important to reduce those barriers to entry. You don't want customers having to scramble to find their bill or scramble to enter their utility account number or something like that. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to get in and start playing around with it. So in this case, we're just asking for a single input. This then is giving the results in lots of different formats to try and give a visual sense of how much a customer might save, in this case with a residential solar installation. The simplicity here of just having a single data point for the customer to input, I think masks, of course, how complicated these calculations are behind the scenes. But I think it's this visual display that's really key to the output. We also included here this animation showing the green impact. This is another way that's really helping, more than just numbers that a calculator is spitting out. The visual element really helps customers see and understand what their impact is. And again, this is the kind of thing that encourages customers to play around with to see what that impact might be. So, it's unlikely they're going to put 100 solar panels on their roof, but if just out of curiosity, they want to see how many cars that's going to get off the road, they can keep playing around with it. And in the process, the calculator continues to reinforce that message. I mentioned this quiz earlier, is an electric vehicle right for you? This is an example where a quiz like this, you can capture the customer's responses. So this customer is interested in reducing their environmental impact. They have a short commute to work every day, but no EV charging at work. So the quiz is providing some information in response to that based on the answers to the first 3 questions. Here's a recommendation that we have for you. The next question now, paying attention here, but I live near charging stations, I have public charging stations, I don't plan to take any road trips. So again, we're providing more responsive information based on those answers. And in the meantime, this information is being captured on the back end. So if we want to follow up, say, with a campaign to all customers who, they're interested in an EV, they have a short commute to work, but they don't have a charging station at home. Now we know who can we provide information to about the rebate program to install a smart charger in your garage, or some other information, program information or otherwise, adoption information that's specific to what we know about this customer, how far their drive is to work, their access to charging, their motivations or other hurdles that might stand in the way of purchasing an EV. We can target those marketing messages with a high degree of certainty because we've listened to our customer. This is a game. It's from a series of quizzes that sort of mimic a game show. It's a good example of something that's probably just educational. There's not necessarily a promotional message here, but again, it's so much fun that hopefully you don't realize that you're learning something. So the interactivity here is it presents you with a question. Depending on your response, if it's correct or incorrect, you get some information in response. So again, this is, we're not just telling customers this information in a text article. We're asking them to respond, and then it gives us an opportunity, if they get something wrong, to provide the correct information. Another element to this piece that I like is it has the phone a friend or ask an expert thing. If you're stumped on a question and you need some help with it, this is another opportunity to, again, reinforce this message, reinforce the educational material behind this topic, but in a fun and memorable way. I'm going to ask an expert here, and now I'm getting some more information about this topic. This is the game that I mentioned earlier that we worked on for AEP Ohio that is about DACR, smart grid technology. And I will go through the game here and just give you a little preview of it. But again, the idea is it's a pretty simple game, click and point, and see how quickly you can react to the tree limb falling on the utility pole, and a pretty fun way to address a topic that would otherwise be sort of esoteric. There we go. So here's the game itself. I'm sure it's not Infographics can have that same educational effect. It's a fun, colorful way to learn, and the customer's participation helps reinforce that message. It makes it more memorable. So this is an example from another series that we've created called Wasted Energy Detective that goes through different rooms. And the idea here is that you try and click on these little monsters that pop up that are wasting energy because you're not using a smart thermostat, or you're not setting your temperature back to save energy at night. See, this case is about weatherization there, exposed window, so tips on weatherization. And this is the kind of information that we could have just done a flat infographic that had the text already overlaid on this design. Just adding that little element of interactivity, instead of making it something customers read, but making it a game that customers play, helps make it more enjoyable, encourages customers to spend more time with it. I mentioned this example earlier. This is a microsite about National Grid's EMS program. So you can click on these videos for each of these topics. I'll try to play the video for you. I'll warn you that the video doesn't play very well over the webinar platform. So if it appears jump, I'll just play a second of it, and just to give you an idea, but it may appear sort of jumpy or low resolution.
Chillers are one of the biggest beneficiaries of EMS because of their complexity. High chiller efficiency is accomplished through energy management systems by properly controlling energy-munching chiller subsystems. So this experience, you can watch these videos. Also, we have program information embedded within this experience, so you can watch the video about saving energy in your chiller, and then click through to sign up for the EMS rebate program directly from the same experience. And then there's more detailed information here where you can open the glossary of terms, and sort of however interested the customer is in this topic, they can dive deeper and deeper as they watch these videos or explore these elements. And then I have one more example to share with you. I absolutely love this smart home experience from PSEG Long Island. So on this microsite, you can click through to different rooms, and an animated family gives you a tour of their home, including smart home and efficiency technologies they're using. And then you can also see, let's go to the family room here. Our family room. You can see on the side that in each room, depending on which video you're watching, you can get more information about programs, or in this case, purchasing a smart thermostat in the marketplace. You can click through these CTA buttons, let you click through to the relevant program page or the relevant product page on the marketplace. So I'll play a second of this video again. I know that it doesn't work very well over the webinar platform, but you can also visit this yourself. It's this is PSEG Long Island's site at mysmartenergyhome.com. I'll play a second.
Home is where we relax, play, and spend time together. Whenever we make any energy efficiency upgrades, we also want to make sure it helps us enjoy our time in here more, not less. Lo and behold, we love it even more. Let us show you why.
So in this experience, then you click on these dots, and then another character comes in and offers advice or information based on what you've clicked on.
The price of TVs has come down since our last purchase, and we upgraded.
What I like about this is this seamless user interface. It looks pretty cool, but I also love the story it tells. You know, it demonstrates how smart energy use fits into a comfortable lifestyle. It creates this context, right? That all these different devices or appliances fit together to save money and improve your home. I think that's a really powerful thing that interactive content can do. A bunch of individual videos or a bunch of individual articles just aren't going to have that same effect. But when you put them together and you give customers the ability to navigate this and interact with it, it really makes that message clear and memorable.
Our basement was once the...
So I am going to stop sharing now, and I'll turn it back over to Scott.
All right, Brian, thanks. We've got just a couple of minutes left for some questions. And I think I was reading through them, and I'm going to try to summarize it. It's essentially two areas. Can you speak to, one, the areas in terms of content where utilities are having the greatest success? And then two, the channels where you're seeing the greatest success. So let's start with the content. What's working best for customers?
Yeah, those are both great questions. So where we've seen, I'll say two things on content. One is existing and one is sort of emerging, but I think is going to be a big topic for us in the next few years. So the existing one is the example that I just shared, where it's sort of the intersection of energy efficiency and smart home technology, where we're teaching customers about these new technologies, new ways that they can save energy, save money, make their homes more comfortable. And it's, as I described, because there can be so many sort of little pieces to that, what helps with the interactive content is putting those pieces together and creating that context, that story that we can tell about energy efficiency in a more comprehensive way. And then the other topic, and it's sort of an offshoot of that, and definitely an emerging view of that, is time of day or time of use rates. You know, if we can take this message of energy efficiency and then with a calculator or some more detailed element, show the real ways that customers can save money, control their energy use with a time of day plan, that's going to be really important in getting, these next few years, is getting customers to understand those rate plans becomes so important.
And then real quick, the channel?
Yes.
Which channel is working best?
In terms of channels, these types of experiences that I shared typically are hosted on a website. And this can be a landing page within a utility website itself, or it can be hosted out on a standalone website. And that's generally needed just because of the robust media that supports this experience. What's important, though, is the promotional campaign to get customers to visit that website. And I would say that social media is very important. And that's, typically Facebook, sometimes Instagram for utilities. Email campaigns can be very important. And then I would say any ways that you can reach customers outside of those digital channels. And, we've worked on, say, print collateral, like physical collateral that a utility is distributing at a community event or some real-world situation. We still even see, paper bill inserts for those customers who haven't switched to e-billing, as an example. I think sometimes, even when we're creating this digital interactive experience, we do need to think about getting the biggest audience possible to that experience. And so sometimes we do need to think beyond even email and social media as a promotional channel.
All right, excellent. I do have more questions, but unfortunately we're out of time. So we're going to send those to you and let you respond to the audience offline if we can. But thank you, Brian. Great information. Appreciate your time and your insights today. I want to remind our audience members that you can text in feedback using the survey that will be popping up momentarily. And thanks again to Message Broadcast, our Diamond sponsor and survey sponsor. And also don't forget to test your knowledge of Chartwell research and general trivia in a few moments. And again, we're giving out prize to the daily winner who does the best with this contest. So we're going to be a short break, about 10-minute break or so, and we're going to begin our breakout sessions. So you have a chance to get a little bit more coffee and get ready for some more great content. We'll see you back in those sessions momentarily. Thanks.